The CNBC one, we've already talked about Jeremy Siegel today, but Wharton's Jeremy Siegel says the Fed needs to make an emergency rate cut, specifically 0.75% now and then 0.75% in September. There's another piece from Bloomberg. It's titled, "An emergency Fed rate cut would be a mistake."
For anybody that, again, listens to the show regularly, I just have to applaud Tucker. He does this regularly where he finds two pieces that are just designed to live next to each other and sends them our way. And applause all around, Tucker, because, your role in all of this often gets overlooked. This was very, very good. But yes, making two completely separate cases, and I think both of us, Chuck, land on the side of Marcus Ashworth here in the Bloomberg op-ed piece. If we constantly use every tool in our box to try and deal with the slightest of problems, guess what? Those tools aren't going to be so useful anymore. And the Federal Reserve going and cutting rates in between a meeting, to me at least, would signify that they are terrified about the risk of a recession, that they think things are completely on the verge of melting down, and I think would do more damage than good at this stage. What is a 50 basis point rate cut going to do right now? Functionally, what's it going to change for anyone?
Here's the thing. The market's already pricing these cuts in, so the Fed doesn't actually have to do anything.
Mortgage rates, they're down over nearly
I'm not saying that the Fed doesn't have to do anything ever, but they don't have to do anything today.
Now. Right. If we start getting word that auctions for treasuries aren't going through and there's not enough buyers, that liquidity starts failing and people, and corporations can't borrow money, that banks are going to stop issuing mortgages, these are all reasons that I could say, okay, that is something fundamental to the economy where, if this company can't borrow so they can make payroll in the next few weeks, I can see why the Federal Reserve might react here to preserve jobs and prevent a recession. There's nothing that the Federal Reserve can or needs to do right now that would help the economy in any way. Would it help the stock market? Good question. It might send a bad signal to markets and send them down further. But the only reason that I think anyone can make an argument for the Fed stepping in right now is because of the market sell-off. And that's not a good reason for the Fed to step in.
Siegel says, don't think the Fed knows something. Since when has the Fed known anything about the economy? The market knows so much better than the Fed. They've got to respond.
Market's been wrong about the state of interest rates and the economy
for the last 3 years.
Completely incorrect.
If the market knew that inflation was going to be such a problem, why was it pricing in 3 rate hikes in 2022?
So, in any case, the Fed has a history of moving rates in between meetings. That would not be a first for them. They have previously reserved that action for times of what seemed like genuine crisis at the time. March 2020, or maybe it was April. I don't know when exactly it was, but I believe it was March of 2020.
Yeah.
The great financial crisis. You look back on those events and you say, yeah, that made a lot of sense. When the stock market's 8% away from all-time highs and unemployment climbed by 0.2%, it's just not there.